welcome to the DIY Photo Organising Podcast, focusing on topics to help you with your photo management. I am Chantal from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. Hello, Chantal. How are you today?
Hi, Fiona. I'm very good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Always a pleasure to join you in these podcast episodes.
Likewise.
All right, so today we're jumping straight into a topic which we thought just would be a practical, helpful one for our wonderful, lovely listeners. I know it has been for myself personally and probably for you too. But today we're talking about realistic time frames when it comes to each of the steps in the 5 golden rules. I know when you're organizing photos, it can seem overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's really what we're all about in this podcast, is helping you to just step through certain parts of each of the projects that you might be working on and things like that. And so we thought it would be a really helpful topic to be able to just talk a little bit about some realistic timeframes that you could expect. So then it's not so overwhelming and we can just break it all down a bit.
So
that's what we are going to be talking about today. So to start off, and of course we're going through our 5 golden rules to do this. Mm-hmm. So to start off, we're going to jump into the first golden rule, which is backup. Our very loved topic of backing up our photos, our current situation of where we're at right now.
Right.
So realistically, this is something that there's a few steps involved with this, but a bit of research, making some decisions on what software you're going to use if you're doing an upload to a cloud-based service like we've talked about in previous episodes, or also making some decisions on what external hard drive you're going to get, go buy the external hard drive, and start uploading. I mean, really, look, realistically, this is really a weekend job. You can get all of that done across a weekend. The running of that backup can take time, a long time. And if it's a cloud upload, it can take 3, 4, 5 weeks, amazingly.
Yes.
But there's nothing for you to do once it's been set up. So realistically, to do all those steps in a backup, we're saying a weekend.
Yeah.
What have you got to add to that one, Chantal?
Nothing, I think.
Perfect.
I know it's totally feasible. If you don't even have to go and buy an external drive to back up to, you might be even faster if you've got the hardware. You know, all you need to do is find out what program you want to use and set it up. And to set it up, it can really be a matter of 5-10 minutes, and then it does its thing and you can walk away and do something different. So it is one I find of the easier tasks, really, to set up a backup system in some ways. As you mentioned, the research, that's not to be underestimated. There are different options out there and you want to find the one that suits you best. But, you know, as you said, go back to our episodes. We've got a full episode of each of these topics, starting with backup being our first golden rule. And in those episodes, we talk in a lot of detail about the options, and that hopefully will get you started.
Yeah. Fabulous. All right, so back up in a weekend. Easy, done.
Easy.
Next. I know it's not as easy as that, but no, really, you know, in a weekend, that decision making, research, purchasing hardware if you need to, and then getting your settings right for the upload, all those types of things so you can feel confident, plug in your phone, get your backup on your computer, all of those things. And you really could definitely get that done within a weekend.
You can.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think it's a great win because it's not a massive task, but it gives you already that peace of mind. You know, it's backed up and you're going to be fine and you can do the rest when you're ready.
Yes, exactly.
So then next up is golden rule number 2, know your why. So this really doesn't take long in most cases. We thought, you know, maybe up to now, but maybe you're done in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's really going back and think about, why do you want to do that? What do you want to do with your photos in the end? Have a vision, have goals, know that why. And as you know, we do encourage you to not only think about that, but to actually write that down. So you can also go and revisit that later on in the process, especially when you declutter photos. It
Yeah.
helps to know your why and to keep that present. It will help you make decisions.
Yeah.
Mm.
So really, I mean, you can think about that within, like we said, a few minutes
Mm.
but really an hour, and not even half an hour, just to, because most people really, it's already in the top of mind anyway, that
Yeah.
that driver as to why they're wanting to organize their photos is there. And if you
Mm-hmm.
haven't already downloaded our procrastination guide, just jump over to the website and grab yourself a copy of that. It's a free guide on procrastinating if you are procrastinating, but it also can highlight some of the reasons why people have a block about that. And I think it can uncover really what it is that you're wanting to do, and some of those project
Mm.
type things with photos that might be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
we'll attach that link again for you in the show notes, so you've got that.
Yes. Yeah.
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 So yeah,
Okay.
about an hour on the golden rule number 2.
Mm.
We'll say half an hour to an hour tops.
And
Wouldn't
you
need
could
more than that.
even do that while your first round of backup is on.
There you go. Stick
Mm.
it in that same weekend. We've got golden rule 1 and 2 done.
Done. Yay. So what's next, Fiona? Tell us
So
about.
our next one is in golden rule number 3. So creating a hub, a photo hub for
Yes.
yourself. Now, granted, this one is possibly a little bit longer,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't have to be. It can be a little bit, again, overwhelming. And so breaking it down, obviously we need to hunt and gather. We need to get all of our bits and pieces in one place. And you may have done that in your backup, when
Mm-hmm.
you've gone to get everything and do a backup. But really, that's just one step. But I mean, look, just focused, get yourself a cup of tea, glass of wine, whatever it is, and just really go through your cupboards, get all of your bits and pieces of your electronical stuff, your external hard drives or USBs, CDs, DVDs, any other sort of digital type thing, any
Mm.
old computer if you need to fire it up, old phones. Just grab everything and get them all. So that really, I mean, realistically, we're
Mm.
saying, an hour or so to go through cupboards and drawers and things like that. You can grab
Mm.
everything. I mean, if it's in attics or it's under cupboards and beds and still, just a matter of opening up all the doors and cupboards and, things like that,
Mm.
and just grab them all and put them in one place.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as then creating that hub, there's a little bit of research on the deciding of what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're really saying within about an hour or so, you could have made your decision and
Mm.
set up. Remember, it's just a blank template to begin with, or maybe it's your existing organizing software that you're going to be using, if something like it's already in your
Mm-hmm.
computer or on your phone or something like that. And we've talked through the details in previous episodes, but we really just want to talk about the time frames here. So I'm not going into the how-tos, but that decision-making process, and then just setting that up, really about an hour or so.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. So far in that creator hub, hunt and gather, get all those things together, and then make your decision on what your photo hub is going to be,
Mm.
and set that up. So open up a clean folder, file, or use your existing. I'm putting that at about an hour or so. What about you? What's your
Mm.
experience with that one, Chantel?
Yeah, obviously it depends a bit on what you find when you go and gather. But it is, as you say, and oftentimes we've both been working with clients in home with them.
Mm.
And so what I would usually do is I would give them instructions and coaching on how to hunt and gather those things, and where to go and find them. And then when I come, I will create the hub, and it's basically copy pasting exercise to get everything into one place. It's
Mm.
not, remember, creating the hub doesn't mean that you're going to sort or organizing yet. That's going to be the next step. It's really just the gathering of everything and moving everything into one place. And from experience, oftentimes I would be done in 3 hours or so. If it's a lot of files, it can be a bit longer, but it can also be quicker if people have like 50 different USBs that you need to plug in and copy paste stuff. It takes a bit longer, but it's sort of a lot of waiting time involved as well.
Yep.
Sometimes if you've got a lot of data to copy over, you can do that, and that's copy paste takes 2 minutes, but then you've got to wait for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that's why we say it's not a huge amount of time that you need, and you can walk away and do other stuff oftentimes.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Absolutely.
And also, don't forget, this is a once off.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Well, usually, if we talk about maintenance, that would be like, let's say, a monthly task or so to download or to copy over your new photos, but it's not going to be thousands, hopefully.
No.
So it shouldn't take an hour or so. It's oftentimes, if you stick to some sort of routine and do it regularly, it's a few minutes and it's
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah. So the next one is sort and organize. What's your experience with this one?
That's the longest one.
Mm.
That can be really, really overwhelming. And we've talked about that in the past so often. We really want to differentiate between working with your backlog, which can be very overwhelming and thousands of photos, and between the maintenance, or from now on moving forward, sort of like draw a line in the sand. Once you've gathered all your photos, that is the backlog, and it can sit there. You don't have to sort and organizing you don't have to sort and organize that straight away. You can absolutely draw a line in the sand and start from now on moving forward and focus on, that's basically the maintenance, which is far less overwhelming because, again, maybe on a weekend, you can use that to set yourself up and think through the steps that you want to do in your maintenance process. If you haven't decided yet which software you're going to use, what metadata you're going to add, all those sort of things. Create your own checklist, your own workflow. That might take a weekend. And when we say a weekend, it's not like you're going to sit there for 12 hours each day. That's not what we mean. We can't give you an hour amount, but, and then let's say I always personally recommend to clients to start with a weekly maintenance session. So book maybe an hour every week to start with, just till you get the hang of things. You know the software you're going to use, all the steps, you have tweaked your process, you know how it works in your sleep. And once you know that, maybe go to monthly maintenance sessions. That might take an hour or two, depending on how many photos you take, how much metadata you want to add, things like that. But it's not going to be, it's usually not more. So personally, if I do it monthly, even, if we haven't traveled, there's not many photos really. I'm done in an hour. If we've had a trip or a weekend away or something, it might be 2 hours. And then I'm done. So
Yep.
that is,
and that's adding all the keywords
yeah,
and everything, really, isn't it?
everything. Yeah, I do the
Yep.
whole shebang. So,
Yeah.
which most people don't. Realistically, but I do, and it's not too overwhelming. That's manageable. Now the backlog is a different story. That can take a
Yes, that
long
could
time.
be a long time, yeah. And look, and really being realistic, that could be, 2 weeks to 2 years. It really, and because that would also then include, you've got to be digitizing all of your other stuff if you want
Mm,
all of that stuff in there and sort and organize
yeah.
your hard copy photos and slides and negatives and things like that into the one
Mm-hmm.
hub and have it all there. So that is where it definitely, blows out that time frame of
Yeah.
being realistic, to get this done quickly.
Mm,
But it is an option
mm,
to, start from now, moving forward, getting all those things under control. And yeah,
mm,
we're saying sort of 1 to 2 hours a month to realistically be able to manage your photos, your
mm.
photo collection. Yeah.
And when you think about it, we all need to do housekeeping. If you compare it with cleaning your house, you probably, I don't know, it depends, of course, but you might spend more than 2 hours a month cleaning your house, and you just do it without thinking a lot about it.
Yeah.
It's just part of the maintenance to keep a house in good shape and clean. It's the same with the photos. Without that routine, it's not going to happen, and the overwhelm is only growing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if we keep it under control with a regular routine, that is really, in my view, key to success.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yep, definitely. And then lastly, we've got do something,
Yeah.
as our what's the point of organizing all these photos?
Mm.
And, once they are organized, and again, we're talking about if you've got, from now moving forward, if you just pick a date and you're saying, I'm going to get my photos, manage what's coming in
Mm.
currently, then something like creating, a slideshow or photo book or something may take a bit longer, because if you wanted to go into past years,
Mm.
then they wouldn't be organized yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're wanting to, as you're moving forward, just say we're a year down the track and you've picked from today moving forward and you've been doing, an hour or so a month, then to create a slideshow or a book, a slideshow easy within 2 hours.
Mm.
You'll know what your favorite photos are. You can pick some music, you can get something beautiful up and have a, 3-5 minute slideshow for a special occasion or something like that easily.
Yeah.
It's very realistic to be able to do that. Obviously, if you know the software. If you don't, then you've got a bit of a learning curve.
Yes, that's right.
But that's only the one time though, okay. And even an annual photo book, you can get that done in a few hours or across a weekend, where you've chosen the photos, chosen which company you're going to go with and which software you're going to use, create the book, again, go into your photo hub, grab all the ones that you've got, and it really is realistic to get that done across a weekend project.
Yeah.
Even printing, you can go 10 minutes, you can jump online and, get some key rings or a mug or something for a Father's Day or a Mother's Day or a birthday gift or something like that, upload them to the website and press order. It really is easy. And we just want to sort of dispel these myths of, it takes so long and so long for this and that. But some of these things really are not that time consuming. I think we can put a bit more thought and effort in the decision making. But when okay, I'm going to set myself 2 hours to get this one thing done.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just say, okay, within half an hour, I'm making a decision on which photo book provider I'm going to use.
Yeah, that's right.
And just make that decision, and then then jump into your photo hub, grab those photos, and off you go.
And you're so right. That's oftentimes the most time-consuming part, to do the research, to find supplies. But once you've got them, people tend to stick to one company, and next time it will be much faster already.
That's right. And there are a lot of companies out there. So I really just say, once if you set yourself a time limit, I'm going to make this decision
Yes.
within the next, half an hour.
Yeah.
Have a look at some online, see which ones you like, and then just order it and upload and order it. And if you're not happy with it, try another company next time.
Yeah.
Just to get the job done.
Yeah, and don't forget, that you can always ask us or other photo organisers, or there's heaps of groups out there, especially on Facebook, where you can simply ask a question. Who can recommend a photo book printer, and you'll get lots of different names, and you've got something to start with and to check them out. You don't have to do it all by yourself.
And a lot of those companies have great tutorials as to how to create that photo book right there online on their website.
Yes. Yeah.
So great. Well, hopefully that's helped with some realistic timeframes. And it just, just short and sweet, just to really give you some incentives, some motivation to get out there and just knock it off and get these things done that you've been thinking about, or you've already started different things, and just to encourage you to get back into some of those projects and keep moving forward.
That's right. That's good. And it is, it's, and we've mentioned that also before, it's not something you do in one rainy Sunday afternoon and it's all fixed.
That's right. A few Sunday afternoon, rainy afternoons.
But on the other hand, it's not undoable. It is feasible. You can totally do that. But don't expect it to be done in a couple of hours.
Yeah. And like we say, some of the tasks in there, while they're running in the background, you don't have to be actually sitting there at your computer. If you're duplicating files, or if you're merging some, photo libraries together, or if you're doing some of those tasks, it's the setup, and then you let it go. Keep your journal and keep a track of what you're doing and what you've done and what you've got to go. And, those little chunks of time, and you'll get there.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will attach the link again to the e-guide about the procrastination. And as always, we're happy to receive reviews and feedback. You can email that to us directly or contact us via the social media channels. And don't forget to check out our courses. We've got a new page on our website called Courses with lots of classes on offer for the DIY listeners, and check them out. Go have a look, and we'll see you next time. I'm Chantal from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. Thanks so much for tuning in, and happy organising.